And that's something that I like really wasn't used to doing. Like I wasn't used to like just being by myself, even though I was kind of an only child growing up. But it was like at this point in time, I was like, no, I love myself. So I felt like the reflection that came out of the painting, like it was just so positive and good energy. And I felt so free in doing it. I wasn't even here thinking like, oh, this is what I want to do. It's like, no, I'm just doing. And so I think that's the one that it's like, yeah, this one represents freedom for me. Because I can still do more with it now. Like it is such a free painting. Like I can do so much still with it. It looks done, but to me it's not done still. So I feel like that's the representation of my journey in life too. I'm like,
That's dope. That's dope. Hi, this is Wayne with Timbuktu. And today I'm going to bring you an interview with Lexi. Lexi is an artist that we met back in 2022. We actually did our first showcase with her in 2023. She's an amazing abstract artist. And today you're going to hear a little bit about her history, her background, her journey as an artist, as well as what's to come in 2024 with her art. So definitely stay tuned for an amazing interview and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your loved ones. Let's get into it.
Hi, my name is Alexi. I'm a visual artist based out of Washington, D.C. I mainly paint abstract art, but I also do contemporary mixed with abstract and digital art as well. I have been a full-time artist for about 4 years now, and I do a lot of community work. I work with the youth in DC and in Maryland for the most part, and I work with a lot of local artists here that are very prominent muralists and influence the city in its art. Yes.
Dope, 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 dope. We are extremely lucky to have Lexi with us today. Lexi, really we just want to get to know the artist. We want to get to know the genius behind the abstracts. So we just, want to ask you a few questions. This ain't an interrogation, but it's more like an investigation. We just want to learn more about you and, your art and you as an artist. So let's get into it. You ready?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. So the first question, most important question, when did you fall in love with art?
I think art has always been in my blood. I think I was like born and I popped out and I was like, I want to paint. Because when I was a kid, I used to make comic books all the time. I used to draw characters. I used to color. Like my parents used to buy me art kits. So I think it's been something I've always loved. I actually went to school for architecture for a while, interior design. It just didn't work out in the market where I was living. But I've just loved it. It's been a passion. Even when I wasn't doing anything related to art, I was always making art at home and with my friends. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So when did the interest in abstract art come about?
I think about 2018, maybe 2015-ish. It was like abstract, but more cartoony. It was more graphic. It went from like graphic into moving the graphic into abstract, because there was like concepts I wanted to do, but I wasn't like very good with my technical skills yet. There was a lot that I had forgotten or a lot I needed to relearn. So I would just make things out of like my emotions, how I was feeling. Sometimes I wouldn't even use brushes. I would just use my hands and like paint things on the canvases. Okay. And it would come out like, oh, whoa, how'd you do this? So I think the abstract came to me more prominently because I felt like with that I could put more of my emotions into it, and I could use my body to make it rather than having to be so technical and precise.
I love that.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. I like that. So speaking of, putting your body and emotions into it, where does a lot of your inspiration come from? I know you just came back from Lebanon. Visiting family out there. Yes. We all know it's a lot going on out there, but one, where's your inspiration come from? And two, do you pull inspiration from your travels back home, travels to other places? Where does that inspiration come from?
I would say yes to all of it. A lot of it comes from basically me fighting depression. I've grown up here with none of my family. Like, I had my mom, I had my brother in and out from time to time, my dad for short periods of time. Like, so, you know, it felt like at one point I was just alone, and I used it to channel out all the emotions I was feeling, on top of having to deal with the emotions I'm feeling, knowing my family's in a very unsafe place, knowing I could wake up one day and maybe the whole city will explode and everybody dies, which did happen. Like, they did have a whole bombing, like the whole nuclear explosion thing happened back in 2020, and now they're going through a war during the holidays, during the times where you're supposed to be with your family. So, and in the winter on top of that, and it's cold as heck in DC, and it's like dark, you never see the sun, so it's like, it's just all around dark. So it's just like, how can I bring lightness in this dark time? And it's just something I've always done. It's like, okay, you know, making art takes a lot of time, so it's like I can work on something for 7, 8, 9 hours and just like not have to think about anything else. I can just channel again what I'm feeling and put it on paper. A lot of the colors I use are vibrant on purpose to like bring out positive feelings, happy feelings, feelings of light and movement and, you know, just motion. Like, instead of just like black and white and gray and dark, like, and just drawing things all the time in grayscale, especially in the winter, because you're just feeling like already gray, you know, that's all you're really seeing. So I feel like a lot of the inspiration comes from like that. It comes from my time living in the Caribbean, because the weather, the colors, the animals, everything I saw there is just so beautiful. And I was never upset once when I was there. It's just like all these beautiful things to look at, beautiful weather, beautiful people. And the colors you see are just so vibrant. Like, you can't really be upset in such like a vibrant place. So yeah, I would say that's really where most of my inspiration comes from. And just, again, being able to move with my art. Like, movement is really big. Movement helps relieve stress. So everything kind of goes hand in hand. But I feel like maybe that's the reason why I really enjoy art. I also don't like being told what to do. I've been very rebellious my whole life. Not to the point of where I get into too much trouble, but just enough trouble where like people just know I don't listen, so they don't even try to like get me to really like do anything anymore. They're like, well, she's just gonna do it on her own time. Like, she's not gonna listen. Like, I like to do things myself and not be told what to do, and yeah, just make stuff. I'm like, I'm just living my life. Like, this is it. So.
So
yes.
What I'm hearing is art is a way for you to bring light into, you know, your space and hopefully into other space.
Yes.
Is that, you know, what you want people who collect your art to get from it? What's really the message that you want to send with your art, if there is one? I mean, it could just be, I just want to, you know.
My message would be for people to be able to relate to the art. Like, I want them to feel the emotions. I want them to see, maybe like see what is in the painting itself. Like, maybe if you look at something, you'll see something else. Maybe it'll speak to you differently, but you're still seeing something. You're not, like, my art isn't made to like see something specific, even though it is something specific, but it goes even more beyond that. So like, people will see my broken heart sometimes. It's supposed to like be this emotion of like heartbreak and pain and whatever, but some people will be like, whoa, like, I just love this, like, it's just so vibrant and it makes me feel emotions. It might not make them feel like heartbreak and stuff, but they are still feeling something. So it's like, that's dope. Or when they look at something abstract and they see like 6 or 7 things inside of the painting, it's like, well, it's, what do you want it to be? What do you see in it? So I think that's pretty cool. Also, like, just getting out of like the systematic way of thinking and way of living. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people are just like brainwashed and controlled by society and what the government has to tell them, what people have to tell them, what teachers, parents, whoever it may be. And it's like, not everything that you're taught is correct. So sometimes it's better to break the cycle than to just keep being in a one-track mindset. So that's like the biggest part. Think outside the box. Think outside of what everyone else is thinking. See things differently for what you see them as, not for what they are all the time, because in real life, things aren't as they seem. So I would say that's my message.
I love that message.
Yes.
I love that message. And I think it goes with, what you do from the standpoint of, I think it goes with what you do from the standpoint, of your community service, to working with kids, to teaching, but also your world-renowned painting sips, right?
Yes.
Right. I know we did one last year where I thought the best thing about it was you were leading through an abstract painting, but you had a base painting, but everybody's painting looked different.
Yes.
And it all, was kind of true to them and maybe their painting skills, but also,
cohesive. Like, yeah.
Right.
It's like making a series. Like, my thing too is like, be yourself in your paintings. I like to encourage people. Again, this is like the whole thing with breaking the system. I'm not here to sit and tell you this is good, this isn't good, this isn't that. No, I'm here to be like, you know what, this is great, but it could be better. Oh, how can I make it better? Well, you could do this, this, and this. People are more responsive and receptive to that rather than like being told, oh, well, here's the technical way of da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, when you're taught that way, sometimes people are like, oh, I can't do this, or I don't get it. Or at the end of the day, art is, it's objective. Like, it's what is it called? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
So it's like, I just encourage people, and it's a muscle memory too. Like, you have to practice. You got to keep practicing. You have to remember how to mix colors and what makes what. And if I do this stroke and I do that stroke, what will the shape look like? Like, you're using math and science and art at the end of the day.
Right.
So you can't just go in and not really know the science and technicalities of it and just expect something so crazy. And some people can do that, but those are born artists, Right. So not everyone is a born artist. Like, I can't sing, but I can paint. So it's just like, what are you good at, and how capable are you of being able to do something? If you're not, I can give you the tools to do it. It may not be the best thing in the world, but you can practice and get better. And that's how I encourage my kids too, that I teach, because it's like, not all of them like to paint, but I want them to have a good time. It's made to build a community. It's made to get to know each other. It's made to encourage and spread positivity and enlighten each other. Yes. Not be here critiquing each other and judging. And if we are going to do that, it needs to be in a positive way, or in a way that is constructive. Yes, I would say.
You would say.
That's my final thought.
That's your final thought?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to?
I think, unless I missed the question.
No. You going off.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of the time, like, I hated my art teacher in high school, or, I went to the sip and paint and I just couldn't do it because I didn't feel comfortable. And my whole thing about it is good energy, good vibes, and making sure everyone's comfortable.
That means they wasn't sipping enough.
Man.
Too much pain.
The adults weren't, but these kids can't sip. So I'm like, coming from somewhere.
I feel that. Couple more questions for you, and then we could wrap it up. Cool. So, what I've gotten from our talk thus far, right, is it's really about, your artwork and what you do with your artwork is really about freedom, and having that freedom to express yourself, to maybe go outside the bounds, maybe just have a space where you can deviate from your normal, everyday task and being within the confines of maybe even your own mind, right? So what advice would you give people, that are looking to breaking away from societal confines, right? What art piece would you say best represents that?
Oh, the one that's actually right next to you, behind you. Because I made that when I felt the freest in my life. I had just come out of like a wild, nasty situation for a few years, trying to get my stuff back together, get my life back together, get my money up, get everything, restart. It was like a big restart. And it wasn't anything that I had done. I had a bad circumstance. I had a bad upbringing, whatever. So, there's repercussions for that, even if you don't do anything. So at one point I felt so at peace with myself. I had just moved into my new spot in the DC. I had I was finishing off the summer, my first summer here. And my old roommate that moved out, he gave me like all these canvases and paint and whatever. So one day I just like sat and I started making this thing. And I didn't even know where I was going with it. But I felt so free doing it. I was listening to like my favorite music. I was by myself. I was vibing. I was just enjoying myself. And that's something that I like really wasn't used to doing. Like I wasn't used to like just being by myself, even though I was kind of an only child growing up. But it was like at this point in time, I was like, no, I love myself. So I felt like the reflection that came out of the painting, like it was just so positive and good energy. And I felt so free in doing it. I wasn't even here thinking like, oh, this is what I want to do. It's like, no, I'm just doing. And so I think that's the one that it's like, yeah, this one represents freedom for me. Because I can still do more with it now. Like, it is such a free painting. Like, I can do so much still with it. It looks done, but to me, it's not done still. So I feel like that's the representation of my journey in life, too. I'm like,
That's dope. That's dope. No, I love it. And I love how your freedom came from maybe what you would consider a low point, right? Like, most people think the freedom comes at the high point, or freedom comes when you achieve something. But a lot of times the freedom comes when maybe you don't have it figured out.
But you feel it. It's like, sometimes it's internal. It's like you can feel that freedom within yourself. It's like, all right, you know what? My situation may not be the best right now, but what am I going to do to turn it around? What am I going to do to start turning it around? Like day one, let's go. So I felt like, to me, maybe that was in the time where I was like, all right, this is the way I want to take my life. I'm going to make shit happen. And I just chilled with my thoughts and myself. And I was like, yo, now I'm here and I still have this painting. Like 9 years later, this is my first one I made here in DC. So it's just crazy that I left and I came back and I still have it. It's insane to me. Yeah.
Okay. So just so y'all know that one is going to be hard to break her away from. So if you're looking on thetimbuktu.com, definitely be on the lookout for it.
1 million. Millions. A couple millions for that one. It's a big painting. It's like 5 feet tall.
I concur.
Yeah.
And speaking of how you made it happen and, that belief and what's come from you having that one moment and what it's grown into, I know just this past December, you did Art Basel.
With the gang. Yes.
Yeah. Can you speak a little bit to, what that experience meant for you? What you enjoyed about it? What did you learn, right, as you move into this next chapter of your art career?
I'm excited for this question. Okay, so Art Basel has been my goal since I don't even know when. Like, since I learned about what art is. What is Art Basel? I was like, oh my God, this is the Mecca. Like, I gotta make it here one day. And I thought it was something that was gonna be so impossible and so far-fetched, and I'm gonna have to be like a big-ass artist and super famous and whatever. No. So come 2023, my favorite people hit me up and they're like, hey Lex, we're going to Art Basel. We're going to go as a collective. Do you want to come? I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So I got all my shit together. I made prints for the first time, got everything done. I bought my ticket, got everything set up with the crew. I was like, we should just go at the same time. Like, let's just make this fun. Let's make this a group experience. Like, we're all here together. Let's network, socialize. When I got there, it was so dope. The first night, actually, I work with a famous designer. His name's Chris Pirate. So he had the debut opening of his shop down there, his gallery. He opened another clothing store. So we got to see his stuff in the light and celebrate with him, and got to like network my group with him, so he could also meet the guys at Timbuktu, which was super dope.
Shout out.
So, and my friends were there too. I had like 2 or 3 of my friends down there, and everyone got to meet each other, and it was just so dope. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have so much support down here, and like I made so many friends down there. I actually networked with a few celebrity artists. Like, they're not celebrities themselves, but they do work for celebrities, which was a dope experience. I got my prints sold to like some famous DJs, just like random people. I'm like, I never would have expected that, oh, they're gonna have my art. But it was super cool. And, you know, just meeting people there, like being able to know, hey, I can go somewhere that I'm not even from and sell my stuff. Like, that in itself was huge to me. So it was like my biggest accomplishment, I would say, thus far, because it was like my #1 goal I've had for the last few years was to go and do this thing. So I thought it was a good experience. I had a great time. Good support system, like everything about it was awesome. Like, I didn't even have any issues. And the craziest part was I was sick as hell going down there. I had the worst cold, the worst whatever. Day 2, I started healing up. I'm like, oh my God, it's like magic. So yeah, everything was just meant to be. It worked out. And yeah, I'm excited to go back next year too. So yes, hey, it was good.
Love to hear it.
Yes.
Love to hear it. Yeah, Art Basel was crazy, and I mean, we made it happen, right?
We made it happen.
It was really just...
It was a movie, to say the least.
To say the least.
Yes.
To say the least.
I did not sleep. So, 72 hours, no sleep.
Right.
Flights got canceled, no sleep, yeah.
Van.
Uber, airport, Uber, rental car, Airbnb, out to Wynwood, out to wherever, club.
Yeah.
Friend's house, club, friend's house, back to the Airbnb. Oh shit, I gotta work, 10 a.m. in the morning, live pay, hungover, drink some more, sell your art, club, Airbnb, club. No, it was super fun. I didn't go to that many clubs, I'm capping.
I would have had her neck if she went to that many clubs. So she definitely. God.
I would have not made it the next day. No. I would have barely made it the next day.
But last question. 2024. What can we expect from Alexi? Abstracts by Alexi. What's coming?
You know, 2023 was a big year because I was featured in 5 Art All Nights. I was a nominee for the Mayor's Art Awards. And I went to Art Basel, back to back to back. So 2024 better be that and some. So we'll see what comes this year. I'm not fully sure, but I see a lot of great things. I know I have a gallery exhibition coming in the summertime. I know actually I'm going back to Lebanon this summer. I do have a few projects that I'm going to be working on back home, which is huge to me. Like, that's even bigger to me than Miami Art Basel, even though like Lebanon's not like a crazy place for art. But to have something there that's mine in my own home country is the biggest gift I think I could ever have, like the biggest accomplishment, because it's so much I want to give back to my country, and the fact that I could give back my skills and my talents and just have everybody see that is amazing to me. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know. Maybe a Mayor's Art Awards again. Maybe. Obviously, there will be Art All Night. A few things for Art All Night. But, you know, we'll see what's soon to come. This year's been pretty slow so far because we're in dead season. But there's always stuff happening. And, you know, I'll keep y'all posted.
All right.
Abstracts by Lexi. Follow me on the Instagram.
You heard it here first. Abstracts by Lexi. Y'all make sure to check her out. You can catch her social media and any relevant links for her in the description below. We will have Lexi back. This is not the last time you're going to hear from her. A lot of dope art coming out from her. Don't mind the painting at the bottom. But, you know, that's fire. Yeah.
You know, we're doing stuff. Yeah, don't mind the painting at the bottom. Oh, gosh.
But, Lexi, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Listen, this was great. I think a lot of great gems coming out of this. And I'm glad that the people can see the artist beyond the beautiful art. So with that, we out.